pepper on the left, salt on the right. Do you know that there's a rhyme and reason for that in restaurants? And how does that also apply to daily life, to business? If this is your first time hopping on, aloha. My name is Marianne Rouse. I am your guide to releasing that badass in you. Now, back to the salt and pepper, or the pepper and salt. The reason why restaurants train their employees, or should train their employees, that's a training that I did receive, to have the pepper on the left and the salt on the right, is to accommodate for those that are visually challenged. So whether they're visually challenged or meaning completely blind, there is that understanding that pepper is always set on the left and the salt is always set on the right. Now, let me tell you a funny story of what happens when things are not in their normal place, or where there is no more rhyme or reason of how things are placed. And we're going to go away from the salt and pepper there. But the other day, I was so thrilled. I was so excited to finally have a hot bubble bath. And I turned on the water, start to fill in the tub. I took off my glasses because I'm going to be taking a bath, right? And I put the stuff in there to make the bubble bath and the bubbles. And I'm noticing that there's not really bubbles that are forming. And I'm sitting in the bath, the water is starting to rise. And then lo and behold, the apartment that we live in, the water tank is not a water tank size that I have been accustomed to when we lived in a house versus an apartment. It's a small tank in the closet. So as the water rose, then cold water started coming out. And I'm like, oh, what do I do now? So as I'm laying in the tub to where it barely covers my back and kind of like comes up to here kind of thing, the rest of my body is freezing while my back is nice and hot because now it's cold water coming out. I decided to stay in the bath and wait and see if there could be more hot water later. So basically, I stayed in the bath while more hot water got heated up in the water heater, and then I just switched to take a shower and finish washing my hair because I can't wash my hair in the bathtub, because when you have long hair you want to be able to rinse everything out, right? So back to no bubbles in the bathtub. The bottles had been switched to where there's a particular way that I like to keep the bottles, and they're basically in the order that I'm going to be using them from when I'm standing by the shower head. So by the shower head, when I reach the one closest to me is going to be the shampoo, and then the one after it is going to be the conditioner. Well, guess what? They got switched. So instead of reaching for the shampoo, which is what I was using to make bubbles in the bathtub, well, apparently it was not the shampoo that was there, it was the conditioner. The bottles look the same and the print is nice and tiny, so if I don't have my glasses on, I don't know what it says. I was simply reaching based on the shampoo is always the first bottle, the conditioner is always the second bottle. And that is the same in business. When we have routines, when we have habits, it helps us to where even if we need to take off our glasses, we can still keep going and do what we need to do. When we have those habits, everything laid out, we have the plan, the glasses could be completely gone. I can wash my hair and all that. In business, you can keep moving. If things get shuffled around, it can create chaos. Obviously, their bathtub, it was not chaos. It was just simply, I didn't have bubbles in the bathtub, right? But in business, if things get shifted around, it can create chaos and it can make it harder to get back on track than to follow the plan that you originally had. So, this whole story just to say, make sure that you always have your pepper on the left and your salt on the right, meaning have your plan of action for your business and that you have a specific routine of how certain things are done. It could be a checklist. Let's say a checklist when you onboard a new customer, what are the steps that you take? Have it as a checklist. That way, when somebody else needs to do those things, they had the checklist and it gets done the same. You have a new team member that joins your team, they know the checklist. What are the ways to do the different tasks of business? By having those checklists, by having those systems laid out, it helps to save on time and to where you have something that you know is efficient instead of trying this and then doing a different way because you forgot how it worked the last time. That's all I got to say about that. So with that, I'm going to make it short for today. A hooey ho until next time. And tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Ooh, what are your plans? I know what our plans are. And we're going to have a good time. All right. Till next time. Toodaloo. A hooey ho.